What's up, guys? Good evening. Billy D here. Wednesday, May 13th, 6:28 p.m. Eastern Time here in New England, where the weather is just about to break. Just about to break. Finally, we're gonna see some sunshine. I mean, it's only the middle of May. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've seen you guys. I know we haven't really had regular shows. We were doing okay there for the playoffs, but real life, my business, lots of stuff gets in the way. I'm sorry I can't be with you every other day like we do during football season. But those days are coming. Those days are coming. We're going to get you back up to date on the NBA and the NHL playoffs, which have been stellar. Last we spoke 9 days ago, I did give you Carolina and Colorado winners. I also gave you a split in the NBA, went 3-1. We have been posting some of our DraftKings. If you guys saw, I took Carolina. Carolina is 8-0 in the NHL playoffs. They swept their first two rounds. They're 8-0. And I literally bet them money line 7 times. 7 times. One game I laid off because I thought Ottawa would steal one, and I thought Philly might steal one, but I bet 6 out of the 8 wins. That's right. I laid off 1 Philly and 1 Ottawa. Colorado, I have ridden every single game, and Colorado is 7-1 in the playoffs, and I am 7-1 with Colorado. I have moneyline Colorado every single game, and I am going to take them tonight, but I'm not taking the moneyline tonight because tonight moneyline is minus 230. I'm taking the Avalanche with the puck line, which is plus 110. I think the Avalanche wrap it up with a 4-2 victory tonight. A couple of things I've been looking at tonight that I like. But just to get up to speed, Colorado up 3-1 against the very talented Minnesota Wild, but they're missing Brodin on defense and the very talented Eriksson Ek, their superstar forward, who's great on the power play as well, and he has been out the entire series after being hurt in Game 6 of the Dallas series. So, Minnesota is missing 2 top players, and it has hurt them in this series. The Avalanche has been the better team most of the time. A very spirited game by Minnesota in Game 3, taking that one. But they're looking down the barrel into the abyss at the end of their season tonight in Colorado, Game 5. So that is an 8 p.m. puck drop. Colorado home to Minnesota, up 3-1, Game 5. Winner advance. Obviously, with a win, Colorado will advance to the Western Conference Finals. In the Eastern Conference, well, also in the Western Conference last night, in overtime, the Las Vegas Golden Knights defeated the Anaheim Ducks to go up 3-2 in their Western semifinal series. They are now up on the Ducks 3-2, Game 6 coming up in Anaheim. That will be tomorrow night at 9:30. That was a spectacular game if you watched it last night. Now, you guys know about the usual suspects for the Vegas Knights. Now, their captain, Mark Stone, is hurt again. He's got a hip pointer and a groin tweak, and so Mark Stone out again, and that's big. But Mitch Marner has been outstanding, and also Carter Hart in net took over, and if you guys remember, Carter Hart was on trial for that whole Canadian junior hockey sex scandal where they had the girl in the hotel room. This was from a few years back when the Canadian team won the gold, and it was quite a few years back. This trial came at these kids years after they had already advanced to the pros. Carter Hart was a Flyer starting goaltender. He took a 15-month leave from the NHL because he could have gone to jail. And he could have went to jail. There's a bunch of players, NHLers, KHLers in the Russian league that were part of this Canadian investigation, the junior team. Now, of course, they designated the girl not a very Well, in Italian, we'd say she was a puttana. And her testimony was not very credible, and the whole case was thrown out. And these kids got off, and they were able to resume their profession. And, the Knights won a Stanley Cup with Aiden Hill. And he had struggled. Carter Hart comes in, takes the starting job, and here he is in one game away from the Western Conference Finals, manning the net for the Vegas Golden Knights. The Vegas Golden Knights, who have been just a spectacular franchise, going to the finals their very first year of existence. They've been in multiple Western Conference Finals. They've been to the finals a couple of times. They won in 2023. They've got Jack Eichel and Mark Stone, their captain, and Shea Theodore on defense, and they're just such a loaded team. But last night, that game was spectacular. If you watched it, the Knights had a 2-1 lead before Anaheim tied the game with 3 minutes to go, and into overtime we went. Now, the star of this game was Russian Pavel Dorofeyev, who had 2 goals in the game, and he was absolutely spectacular. He had a goal where he picked the pocket of a Ducks forward. He picked the pocket, lifted his stick, scooped the puck, came in, and roofed one top shelf. It was unbelievable. Eichel had 2 assists last night, and Pavel Dorofeyev had the game winner in overtime, and he also had the goal that put them up 2-1. Pavel Dorofeyev was amazing last night. Again, 2 goals for Dorofeyev, 2 assists for Eichel, goal and assist for Thomas Hertl. The Knights were just spectacular last night, and you know what? So were the Ducks. Carter Hart, 34 saves on 36 shots. The Knights were outshot 36-31 in this game, as Anaheim has proven that although a young team with the great Beckett Seneca, and they've got a great mix of youth and veterans, and their goalie from Czechia, Dostal, who's been spectacular. But actually, Dostal's been a little hot and cold, but he made some spectacular saves last night. And he's young, with a lot of good mix of youth and veterans with the Ducks. You have Kreider and Trouba, and then you have Carlson and of course Beckett Seneca, who was runner-up to Matthew Schaefer of the New York Islanders, who won the Rookie of the Year today. Also you got kids like Will Carlson, veterans like Shea Theodore and Hamflin on defense, and Mitch Marner. What are the Maple Leaf fans saying? Mitch Marner leads the NHL in playoff scoring. Left Toronto as a free agent because he was constantly under fire with that Toronto fan base. And here he is, Mitch Marner, 1 game from the conference finals, and he leads the entire NHL in playoff scoring. That's got to be a total kick in the ass to Maple Leaf fans. And you know what? They deserve it. They treat their home team heroes like shit in Toronto. They really do. So that wraps us up the NHL Western Conference. We have the Knights up 3-2 on the Anaheim Ducks. Game 6 is tomorrow night, 9:30 in Anaheim. Tonight we have the Colorado Avalanche teeing up Game 5 with a chance to advance. 8 p.m. is the puck drop for that one. Landeskog, McKinnon and company, Brock Nelson. They did switch to Mackenzie Blackwood from Scott Wedgwood. Now, Blackwood was originally their starter. Down the stretch, Wedgwood got hot. They went into the playoffs with Wedgwood. Wedgwood stayed hot. These guys are really goalie 1A and 1B. They really have 2 starting goalies. A lot of times, just like with starting quarterbacks, they say if you got 2 starting quarterbacks, you have none. Not always the case with a goalie platoon. And these guys have done great. And, when they had Darcy Kemper, when they won the Cup, Colorado in 22, Blackwood was the backup, so he's got the experience. So they went with Mackenzie Blackwood. He played great. They're going to stick with him. Wedgwood, now, waiting his turn, also capable. So tonight, 8 p.m. is the puck drop for Colorado, Minnesota, Game 5. So that gets you up to step NHL Western. Now, in the Eastern Conference playoff race, obviously the Carolina Hurricanes are 8-0, and they have been waiting for their opponent. Will it be Buffalo? Will it be Montreal? Will it be the Sabres? Will it be the Canadiens? Now, the Buffalo-Montreal series has been so fun. Obviously, Carolina has just stormtrooped through everybody, and the line with Logan Stankoven and Jackson Blake, former Islander Jason Blake's son, this line has been unbelievable. It's been the best line for the Carolina Hurricanes. I want to look up some stats here. I mean, obviously, Logan Stankoven leads Carolina in playoff goals. He's been their star. Now, Taylor Hall, who we know from, his career with the Bruins and Edmonton, and he's journeyed all around, he has found a home in Carolina, and the Jackson Blake, Taylor Hall, and Logan Stankoven line has been amazing. It's just been amazing. It's been the best line for the Carolina Hurricanes. The best line. And you know what? I'm going to tell you something. You got to give Carolina credit. They have been a consistent playoff team. Always gets through the first round. Most of the time they get to the conference finals, and then they've run into the Florida Panthers, Tampa Bay Lightning. They've run into their nemesis, as you would say. Now, this might be the year for Carolina. Anderson's playing great in net. This might be the year. Obviously, I gave you that line. They got great players like Sebastian Aho and Jordan Stahl, who has rings with the Pittsburgh Penguins. This could be the year, finally, with Florida out of the way and Tampa out of the way. Obviously, those are two heavyweights. This will be the first time that the Stanley Cup hasn't been in Florida in like 7 years. So, finally, Carolina may have a chance. I actually like Carolina to play in the Stanley Cup Finals against the Colorado Avalanche. I think this is going to be the year. I know Buffalo and the Montreal Canadiens have been a great story. Listen, we know who I picked. Beginning of the year, I picked Tampa and Vegas. That was the very beginning of the year, when Game 1. I thought, with all the injuries the Panthers had starting the season, and we all know it got much worse, that the Panthers, that would sideline them eventually. That would be their nemesis, all their injuries. So that's why I picked Tampa. Panthers healthy, they still had the best roster. I had to pick them. I had Tampa and Vegas. Beginning of the playoffs, I picked Tampa, Colorado. Obviously, Tampa's gone, eliminated in 7 by Montreal, so I got that one wrong. But where I got it right is I bet the Carolina Hurricanes 6-0 with the Carolina Hurricanes this year. I laid off 2 games because I didn't think they'd sweep every round. I liked them in 5. Every time I bet the Carolina Hurricanes with the money line, they've been money. And I am picking them. I don't care who they play, Buffalo, Montreal. Carolina Hurricanes are going to finally get that Eastern Conference championship monkey off their back. They're going to win that sucker, and they're going to go to the Cup Finals. And if I'm wrong, it'll be headlines in our right-wrong segment. Where Billy nailed it, where Billy screwed up. Our right-wrong segment. Well, I always take credit when I nail some picks, and I always come clean when I get it wrong. All right, so last night, obviously, Game 4, Sabres defeat Montreal 3-2. Now, Canadians had a 2-1 lead in this game, and they were looking pretty good. They were looking like they were on pace to a 3-1 series lead, but it was not to be. Samuelson scores for the Sabres. Dahlin and Norris with assists. Tage Thompson also added a goal and assist, a 2-point night. Doan, who's been great in this series, added 2 more assists. Benson had a goal for Montreal. Yuri Slafowski, who's been just great in these playoffs, he had an assist. Evans had an assist. They got goals by Newhook, who's got 6 goals in the playoffs. Alex Newhook is a third and fourth line player all his career, has been the best goal scorer. When you got guys like Suzuki and Caulfield and Slafowski and Demidov on the Canadiens, it's Alex Newhook has been the best goal scorer for the Montreal Canadiens, believe it or not. Caulfield also added another goal. He now has 3 in the playoffs as he's starting to heat up. He was on the Schneid. He only had 1, and now he is starting to heat up the last couple games. But that being said, we are headed to Game 5, tied at 2. We are going back to Buffalo for Game 5 of that series. Dobis has been fantastic. The Sabres have juggled Luukkonen and Lyon in net. I thought Lyon had it. I thought he had it sewed up. Luukkonen was a little shaky in the last round. Not terrible, but he had, in these playoffs, you have one bad game where you give up maybe 2 soft goals, and maybe you give up 3, you give up 4 goals in a game, and maybe a couple of those goals are soft. If you're a team with depth in net, you're going to hit the bench, and you might not get your chance again. And Lyon came in, it was playing really well, but they went back to Luukkonen after that. 2 games in a row, 5-2, 6-2, Montreal in games 2 and 3, and the Habs offense looked like it was rolling, and they needed to sit Lyon down. And they went to Luukkonen last night, and it worked. A 3-2 victory for the Sabres, and now on to Game 5. When is Game 5? Game 5 is, let's see here. Game 5 is tomorrow night. From Buffalo at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. So tomorrow night, you'll have 7 p.m. Canadiens at the Sabres. You will have the Golden Knights at the Ducks. That is a 9:30 start. And that will be Game 6. Vegas with a chance to wrap things up and avoid a Game 7 back at home. So 9:30 tomorrow night, Vegas at Anaheim, and 7 o'clock we will have Game 5 of the Montreal Canadiens and the Sabres in Buffalo. Okay, so we know we have the Wild and the Avalanche tonight at 8. NBA. Switching gears. Oh, cheers. Guys want to call in? 203-451-3379 is the call-in number. We are live on YouTube right now on the North American Sports Report Billy D YouTube channel. I got somebody chatting in here. Jimmy T. We have buddy Jimmy T coming in with some picks. Jimmy T likes the Pirates, the Brewers, the Dodgers tonight. I like the Dodgers tonight. So I'm going to give you a couple of plays that I played tonight. I like the Dodgers run line tonight because the money line's ridiculous. I like the Pistons and over in the teaser, and the Cavs and over in the teaser in the NBA. And I like Colorado puck line tonight because the money line is too steep. Those are my 4 picks tonight in the NBA, MLB, and NHL. I will say one thing about this NBA playoffs. If you're betting, last night I laid down the Spurs and the over, and it was money. And then the other night I had, the Thunder-Laker game, I bet the over. The over comes in 95% of these damn NBA games. Every game the over hits. Nobody plays defense in the NBA anymore. These overs, they should be 221, 220. I looked, everyone's 211, 212, 213. Every over comes in these NBA games. So tonight, from Detroit, we have Game 5 of the Cavs-Pistons. Cunningham from the Pistons been great. Donovan Mitchell the other night had 45 points. Which just spectacular. The Cavs come from 2-0 down to win both their home games, tying the series 2 games apiece. Now we go to Detroit for Game 5. I think it's going to be a close game tonight. I like Detroit, but that's why I tease both sides, and I guarantee you the game will go over. And if it doesn't, tease it down from 211.5 to 206.5, and nobody plays defense. All these damn games go over. You could literally bet the over 9 out of 10 times, and you win right now, the way the playoffs have been going. So Game 5 tonight at 8 p.m. from Detroit. Series tied at 2. Pistons and the Cavs. In the Cavs, Donovan Mitchell started off slow in this series. He's been on fire. He has been on fire. Last night, Victor Wembanyama returned from his suspension. You guys saw he didn't get suspended. He got thrown out of late in the first half of Game 4 for an elbow. And the T-Wolves with Ant-Man were able to come back and win the game. But Wembanyama returns with 27 points and 17 boards in Game 5. And the Spurs now up 3-2. Okay, hold on a second here. Yes, 126-97 last night. So they're headed back to Minnesota for Game 6. Just a dominating performance by the Spurs last night. Listen, the T-Wolves are athletic. Gobert, Edwards, obviously Julius Randle's a journeyman, but he's a chucker. But he scores points even though he chucks it. But Ant-Man and McDaniels and Gobert, they're the juice on the Timberwolves. They're very athletic. But I'm sorry, they have no answer for Wembanyama. Does anybody? Does anybody in the league have an answer for Victor Wembanyama? You might be able to say that Victor Wembanyama is the best player in the league. And they have Vassell and Fox and Castle and lots of young quality players. The Spurs are on the rise. Like the Duncan era, where they won the 5 titles and 7 trips. There is another, I believe they were 5-2 in the finals, with the 7 finals in like a 15, 16, 17-year span. The Spurs, 16-year span, 7 trips to the finals, 5 titles. I do believe that's accurate. The Duncan era with Popovich, Coach Popovich. But there is another era on the rise for the Spurs. The 2 best teams in the NBA are the OKC Thunder, Oklahoma City, and the Spurs. They're playing chess, everybody else is playing checkers. They're the 2 best teams. Now, I know everybody in New York is all jazzed up about the New York Knicks. New York Knicks. And listen, the Knickerbockers have been a great story. And I know everybody in New York is super excited. Jalen Brunson he is lighting up the playoffs. His stat line, there hasn't been a Knick that's played this good in the playoffs since Walt Frazier. Okay? Towns, Hart, Brunson, OB. Knicks got a good squad. Not denying it. And I think the Knicks are going to win the Eastern Conference. I think the Knicks will smoke. And just again, to get up to speed, you guys know the Knicks swept the Sixers. So the Knicks are now 8-2 in the playoffs. Okay? And am I right, or are they 8-1? Have the Knicks lost 2 games, or have they only lost 1 game? Let me double check myself. Here. Because, we want to get things right on this show. We want to get these things right on this show. I've been hearing from some of my sources, getting to a little drama, that this whole Vrabel, Diane Rossini thing, obviously we know it's ruined her career, but there are some people that have been saying that, Vrabel could be in trouble with his job. I'm sorry, that's ridiculous, because that guy's a great coach. And the Patriots, I don't care what the F he did. He better not be going anywhere. Okay, back to the Knicks. The Knicks did lose 2 games against the Hawks, and then they swept the Sixers. So the Knicks are 8-2 and the Knicks have won 7 games in a row in the playoffs. The Knicks are 8-2 overall, and the New York Knicks have won 7 straight games in the NBA playoffs. Jalen Brunson on fire, setting playoff scoring records for the Knicks. And the New York Knicks are going to go to the NBA Finals. They're going to beat, I don't care if they play Detroit or Cleveland, the Knicks will smoke either one of those teams. Maybe it'll go 6. I don't care who they play. Detroit or Cleveland, the Knicks are going to go to the NBA Finals. Do you hear that, New York? For the first time since 1999, the New York Knicks are going to go to the NBA Finals. You remember that year with Latrell Sprewell and Allen Houston, and Ewing got hurt in the Eastern Conference Finals and he couldn't play in the finals. The Patrick Ewing era Knicks went to the finals twice, as you know. They lost to the Rockets in '94. I know because I was there. And I was there the infamous O.J. Simpson Ford Bronco chase night at the Garden, afternoon game at the Garden. I'm there. Knicks going up 3-2. The crowd's chanting, Knicks in 6. Knicks in 6. Knicks whoop Houston to go up 3-2, but we all know what happened. We all know what happened. They went to Houston and they lost games 6 and 7. And that would be the only time Patrick Ewing would ever play in the NBA Finals, because he could not play in '99 against the Spurs because he got hurt in the Eastern Conference Finals. First time in 27 years, Knickerbocker fans, you will be back in the NBA Finals. And then you're going to get your heart broken because they're going to lose. And I don't care whether they end up playing OKC or the Spurs, they're going to get beat, and they'll probably get beaten like 5. Sorry. The Western Conference, the OKC and the Spurs, they're way ahead of any team in the Eastern Conference. So that's what I got for you, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, 8 o'clock, Game 5. Cavs at the Pistons. Tomorrow night, we got nothing. That's right, because the Lakers have been swept already by OKC. Oh, there's another good story. So, did LeBron James play his last game with the LA Lakers? Obviously, he's the third option now. Luka, of course, out of shape during the season, hurt, can't finish the playoffs. Reeves, who's a great player, but not great on defense. And again, he was hurt coming into the playoffs just like he was last year. So his durability is a question. So OKC dispenses of the Lakers. And the Lakers, they played tough the last 2 games, but you knew they were never winning. They were outclassed in round 2. OKC now waiting for the winner of the Spurs-Minnesota series. And it will be the Spurs. OKC will play the Spurs in the Western Conference Finals. And the Knicks will play the winner of the Pistons and the Cavaliers. So all we got left is the Spurs T-Wolves series and the Cavs Pistons series. So tonight, as I said, 8 p.m. they throw the ball up. 8 p.m. they throw the ball up. Do you know that what the heck did they play this? The T-Wolves and the Spurs do not play Game 6 until Sunday at 1 o'clock, the 17th. What the hell, NBA? What is with all these days off? So that'll be Game 6. Oh, wait a second. That's not right. Sorry, kids. I'm looking here. Let me get you the schedule for the San Antonio game. All right, here we go. I'm looking at my teleprompter here where I got all my stuff, and it's giving me some incorrect jive. All right, so last night we know the Spurs romp by 29, Wembanyama 27 and 17. Friday night, 9:30 is Game 6 from Minnesota. Spurs at Minnesota, Friday night. And then, if the Spurs don't finish the job, Game 7 would be in San Antonio Sunday at 1 in the afternoon. I actually do expect the Spurs to wrap things up in Game 6 in Minnesota. No offense to Minnesota, athletic team, great young team. It's just a stacked Western Conference, and the Spurs are young and talented, and they may have the league's best player. It's either SGA or Wembanyama. Those are your two best players in the league right now. I'm sorry. So Knicks await the winner of Cavs Pistons. You got that game tonight. Enjoy that game. You don't have anything in the Western Conference tonight. You don't have anything in the Western Conference till Friday night. So you got nothing tomorrow night. Friday night, the 15th, 9:30, you'll have Spurs T-Wolves. Spurs T-Wolves, Friday night, 9:30. You will also have Game 6 of the Pistons Cavs at 7 on Friday. So Friday night, you'll have an NBA doubleheader because you know both those series will still be in motion. Okay? So you got your games on Friday night. You know your NHL tonight. You got your 8 o'clock Wild at Avalanche. And I already gave you your games for Thursday. You'll have Thursday night, tomorrow night, you'll have the Canadians and the Sabres. And you'll have the Golden Knights and the Ducks. That's the late game, 9:30. And that's what I got for you. That's what I got for you. We are all up to date. I'm sorry, when I haven't done a show in 9 days, it takes us a little while to get caught up with everything. Those are the major stories. Those are the major stories. You guys want to, you know what we'll do before we get out of here? Let's check the MLB standings and see where we're at. I know we don't get too juiced up about this stuff this early in the season, but let's take a look. We know the Mets still suck. They always suck. So the Rays have actually taken the top spot in the AL East from the Yankees. Tampa Bay's been playing fantastic. They are 28-13. They have just flown past the Yankees. The Yankees are 27-17 and have struggled of late. The Yankees got bombed today. One of their aces, Fried, got lit up. They lose 7-0 to the Orioles. The Yanks have lost 4 out of 5, and they are 27-17. The Rays are in first place. The Orioles, Blue Jays, and Red Sox make up the rest of the East, but they all have losing records. So Rays, 2.5 game lead in the AL East over the Yanks. AL Central, the Guardians at 24-21 have a 2-game lead over the White Sox. The Central's very weak. Twins, Royals, Tigers followed it up. Everybody with a losing record. The soon-to-be Las Vegas A's playing their home games in Sacramento right now with their eventual move to Vegas next year. Actually 21-20, which for them, after bad as they were the previous 2 years, is a trend in the right direction. But again, even the AL West, that's your first-place team in the AL West. The A's, Mariners are a game back, 1 game under 500, as are the Rangers. Astros and Angels make up the bottom. Boy, the Central and the West in the AL is awful. I mean, there are only 4 teams in the American League with a winning record. The Rays, the Yankees, the Guardians, and the Athletics. That is pathetic. Bad job, American League of Major League Baseball. Pathetic. In the NL, the Braves, 29-13, first place in the East. Phillies, Marlins, Nationals, all 9 games back. I'm sorry, the Marlins now 10 games back. 20-22 and 19-23 respectively. The Mets in the basement at 16-25. Although the Mets have won 6 of their last 10, so they did break that terrible, terrible slump they were in, but they're still a huge disappointment. In the Central, the Cubs 27-15 in first. Brewers 23-16. Cardinals 24-17. Pirates 23-19, Reds 22-20. Looks to me like the NL Central is the best division in all of Major League Baseball. The Padres have moved ahead of the slumping LA Dodgers, and man, have they been slumping. They are 4-6 in their last 10 games, including blowing the last 2 games to the San Francisco Giants. The Padres are up by a half a game on the Dodgers. The Diamondbacks, Giants, Rockies well behind. That is your standings in all of MLB. You guys, it's been a great show. I've enjoyed being with you. It's been a while. I'm sorry about the delay in shows. Again, real life sometimes gets in the way. I've had a busy schedule with work and life. And, we try to get on when some major stories hit. You will be seeing more of me on a regular basis. Just look for the notifications. you'll see them on the YouTube page. If you subscribe to the North American Sports Report YouTube channel, you will see when I come on. If you are with me, if you are one of these 6,500 followers on the Billy D Facebook page, Billy D Napoli, and on Instagram, you will get notifications when I go live. So just check your devices. You'll see when I go live. Please subscribe to the North American Sports Report YouTube channel, and please follow me, Billy D Napoli, on Facebook and Instagram. You'll see me on X and TikTok too. You guys have a great night. It's been great to be with you. I'll see you soon. Cheers.